Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Deweys Bingo. Don't know about the rest of you, but I always enjoy bingo, so I'm hoping we'll get other people that enjoy it as well to come join us and play with us. We may do this weekly. We may do it more often or less often, depending how often people enjoy doing it. But I have a wide variety of bingo topics made up already and a bunch more in mind. So we should have a lot of fun. So if you are here and you haven't already, please share the link so that others can find it. And as soon as we get a crowd of people here, we will get to playing. So far, Anthony, way to go. He was our first person here. We did have Down Under Cruisers was here right after him, but I don't know if they're still here or not. So the more we get, the merrier, everybody. Hey, Najuma, welcome. Glad to see you here. If you haven't already, make sure you go get your bingo card. You can click at the link up here in the chat or in the info for the YouTube show. And right now, I only see 2 cards being active, both of them by Anthony. So once we get some more people here, we'll get the game going. So has anybody ever played bingo online like this before? I was doing some searching and I didn't really see anybody out there that's doing anything. So I thought, maybe this would be something to try. This episode, we're going to be doing classic TV. So your bingo cards will have the name of basically a whole bunch of different classic TV shows. And when I draw the number, it's going to be a picture from that show. And you'll just identify that show by marking it on your card if you have it. If you notice, the marker is a little TV. So that makes it different and interesting. Let me get me a card here just to make sure everything's working right. Yep. And don't forget to mark your free square. When you click on the card on your phone or your iPad or your computer, it will put a marker on that box. When you click it again, it takes it off. So if you make a mistake, that's not a problem. Yeah, Anthony, I play a lot of bingo on the phone apps, but they're getting to be so annoying anymore because they're full of ads and stuff and claim that they're going to make you money, and it takes all the fun away from playing the game. So, hey, we got another person here showed up. Hey, Peekaboo, glad to have you here joining with us. Don't forget to get your bingo card, and we'll get a game going as soon as we get some people playing. Okay, we've got a few more showing up here. It's good to see. We've got Peekaboo playing and Najuma and the Modigator. So hopefully you guys like this idea and it'll catch on. Yeah, Anthony, the ads on those phone games. I wish they would come up with a game you could just play for the sake of playing it and not trying to sell you anything or I mean, they all claim that they're going to win money, but we all know that's not going to happen. Hey, Captain Billy, glad to see you here. So as soon as you get logged in and get your card, we'll get this game going here soon. I hope we'll get a lot of people in here today. Can you guys hear the background music? Is it too loud or too soft? There's a new feature of this I'm trying. I haven't done before. Next week, Captain Billy, you'll like, or whenever the next time we play, I've got a one I'm creating just about captains, and you're in it. So it should be fun and exciting. Uh-oh, what happened here? Okay, the screen went blank for a brief moment there. I got me nervous. Okay, the first game we're going to play, just to get the hang of how this software works, it's just going to be a normal bingo. Let me show you here. I've got a, where did I put that? Hold on, I'm missing something here. Okay. Okay. We have a variety of patterns here that I've created. Let me get rid of Captain Billy's. There we go. Take that out of the way. We're going to be playing what is called just the normal bingo. So any line that goes up and down, or across, or diagonal, will either direction will count as a bingo. Now the software does not call bingo for you, so you will have to call bingo in the chat. And the first person who calls it will be the winner in case of a tie. Oops, hit the wrong button there. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Where am I at here? All of a sudden I've disappeared here. Uh-oh. There, I seem to be back now. Can you everybody hear me okay? I'm glad for that. Okay, well, let's, let me go ahead and get a game started here, and others join. They can either join in later, or they can watch see how we're doing it. We've got a few of us here. We'll get started on it. The stand here, turn off the holy thing. Okay, and then I want to bring up my the actual calling device. Okay. So is everybody ready to get this first game going and see how it works? I think I'm going to play along with it too, just to make sure everything works okay. Okay, well, before we get rolling here, make sure you all check your free space card. I mean, might as well give you a free one to start off with. Some games I may actually have things in that may not always have a free space, so we'll see how things work out. And with this particular software, when we're done, instead of getting new cards, I can either clear the cards and mix them up, or we can, just, everybody can get new cards, whatever everybody wants to do. So we'll just see how it works. So let's get rolling and see what happens here. Okay, the first. Okay, so you see the first picture there, and you know what show that belongs to? And most of these, I will not give away the answers. This one, since it's the first one, I will let you know. This is the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So if you have the Mary Tyler Moore Show on your card, be sure to go ahead and mark it, because you now have one more on your way. Thank you, Billy, for sharing it out for us. All right, our next call will be. Okay, do you recognize this show? Okay, and on to our next one. Now, this one everybody should recognize, I'm sure. And even if you're young, you've probably seen it in reruns on various cable networks. I always enjoyed this one. I know as a young person, even as an old person, shoot, I've always enjoyed the show. And the next one. Now, this one may not be as easily recognizable by a lot of people, but this was one of my favorites when I was a kid. I always enjoyed. And that dog was, I always wanted a dog like that of my own. So never quite had one like that, but I had one very similar. Okay, question. Are all of the daubers showing up as the TV or are they showing up as an X? Because when I look at the cards, it shows the daubers in the middle free square, but all the others are showing up as an X on my list of all the cards. So I was just curious how they're showing up for you guys. It should show up as the TV, so I'm glad to see that. Good. Okay, here comes the next call. There was a young gentleman that was the heartthrob of a lot of women, and I'm sure a lot of guys too. I'm doing pretty good on my card. Hope you guys are as well. I see a few people are getting somewhat close. So, okay, our next call. There you go. This show was a very popular one for a while. Very funny. A lot of people got their start, I think, on this show. Here's another oldie but goodie. This is back in my kids' days, back in the 60s. As you can see, it's a black and white show, but I always enjoyed it. And of course, everybody knows this show. Watched a lot of these little ones grow up on that show. Here's one that not everybody may recognize, but it was a pretty decent show. I don't know if I have it on my here. Nope, I don't have it on my card. Another oldie but goodie. This one was fun. And then everybody knows this one. It was a spinoff of another old classic TV show, but it was very popular in its time. Hey, I had that one on my card. Now this one you may or may not recognize. It was a good show in its day, but I don't see it on reruns as often. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody can remember this show. Does everybody know what this show is? Hey, Blaine, glad to see you. Welcome to the show. We're just in the middle of the first game. You're welcome to get a card and play along. And we've had a few drawn already, but no winner yet. Just to get an idea how things work and how it feels. What I'm doing is I'm showing the pictures from classic TV shows, and you have to match them with the name of the shows on your card. This one, for example, since a lot of people may not recognize it, this was the Rockford Files. So if you have Rockford Files on your card, go ahead and mark it. You got another one. And Blaine, you can find the link for the show, link for a card in the show notes, or you can also find, matter of fact, I'll just post it right here in case you need it. Okay, the next drawing is, now this one is going to be probably difficult for a lot of people. I don't have this one on my card anyway, so. Now here's one I'm sure you'll all recognize. You don't recognize this one, Peekaboo? Or are you talking about the one before it? Yeah, I shared it on both of my YouTube channels just to see how it gets around. Whichever one it gets on more, I will probably just stick to that so it doesn't get so confusing for people. Okay, this one here, that was the Bob Newhart show. So since we're still learning how to use this, if you guys don't know one, speak up and I'll be glad to let you know. Okay, and our next one. I was never much into Westerns, but this was one that I did like. Western movies I really wasn't a big fan of, but with this one as a sitcom, I enjoyed it. So. Blaine, at this point, we'll let anybody in, and he can't be too fake of a captain. He's actually in the next bingo game that we play the next time we run this show because it's all about captains. Well, there is a show in here with another captain. So we'll see if it pops up in the drawing. Okay, the next one. There you go. There was another good show. Hey, I got that one on my card too. Oh, I see we got some people getting down to just needing one more. So let's see if it comes up here soon. Okay, the next one. Now everybody should recognize this face. And our next one. Now, this one might be difficult for some people to recognize. I enjoyed this show when I was young. So if you don't know the answer to this one, let me know, and I will let you know what it is. Michael Ann, you can click on a link in the show or in the chat here to get your bingo card. And we'll be playing more than this one game. So late just gives you a chance to see how everything works. No, peekaboo, this one isn't the Honeymooners. This one's a little newer than that. This one was My Three Sons. Here's another one that a lot of younger people may not recognize. This one was a nice big house full of people. There was a lot of kids, and they were good, wholesome people. Do people want me to just show the pictures and let you find the shows, or do you want me to list the shows too while you're getting used to this? I can let you know the names at the same time. This one is 8 is enough. Now here's one I'm sure most of you will recognize, even if you didn't watch it much, and you've probably seen it all kinds of places. This one, this was the Dukes of Hazzard. Yep, the list here doesn't show the names of them because I have that on another. I made 2 sets of cards, one so I could show the pictures and one so you can get the pictures like I'm doing here. So, and the ones you have just has the names on it. So now this one I'm sure you'll all recognize. This was probably, when you think classic TV, this is one everybody thinks of. This one was the very famous I Love Lucy. This one was one I really enjoyed. I don't know how many of you may remember this one, but this was back in the older days, so some of you might be too young for it. But this had a New York couple who moved out to a farm and wanted to live the high life on the farm. It was called Green Acres. My ultimate favorite is in this list. I hope it shows up in the drawing, so I'll let you know when we get up to that one. Okay, now this was the cousin of the person the show was named after, but you probably recognize the set, and you'll even recognize the person because I believe she played both characters. So this was from the show Bewitched. Now, this is one that, based on this picture, may be hard to recognize unless you were a fan of the show. But this was one of the many children back in the hills of North Carolina on Walton's Mountain. This was on the show The Waltons. Now, everybody knows this one, I'm sure. Even if you never watched the show, you've seen that character on many things, on movies and lunchboxes and everything else. This was Batman. Now, this one is going to be a hard one for many of you to recognize, I'm sure. I don't know how long it was on. I don't remember seeing it a lot. But it was another one of the classic shows. It was called The Great American Hero. Now, here's one I'm sure you all recognize. If you didn't recognize the characters, you at least recognize the house. Hey, Nujuma's got a bingo. Let's check the card and see. Yep, sure enough, you do. Congratulations, Najuma. Okay, so what did everybody think of this first go around? Peekaboo, be a good sport. There's no prizes yet at this point, but maybe somewhere along the line we'll end up having prizes or play for money, or I don't know if we could play for money because it's hard to do that with legalities and everything, but we had quite a few people that were close. Oh, Danny, you would have had a bingo. My Three Sons was one of the ones that was called, so you would have had a bingo. Let's see if anybody else has one here. Nope, don't see anybody else with one. Okay, now there were a number of people that were close, but okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to re-scramble everything. And we'll clear all the cards. Now, do you want me to just clear the cards and scramble them up for you, or do you want me to just clear the cards so you guys can be more familiar with where they're at? Do you like playing with the pictures, or would you rather just play with the names to make it easier? Okay, everybody's cards should now be cleared, but I didn't scramble them back up. And let me know if you want to just play with the pictures still or with the words to make it easier. Okay, I will keep up with the pictures and keep saying the names. That sounds like a good plan. Okay, so let me get the new okay, so is everybody's card cleared and ready to go for another one? All righty, here comes the first one in the second game. This was one of the original police shows, I think, back in the day. So they probably, I don't know, hopefully most of you recognize this one was called Dragnet. Also, don't forget to mark your free squares. That's a gimme. Okay, the next one. This one was a hot show for a number of reasons. The car and the guy. And you probably later saw him a whole lot on Baywatch. But this was one of his earlier shows. This was called Knight Rider. And then you have this show, which some of you may have recognized and some may not. This one was, he played the housekeeper to the lady. So this show was called Who's the Boss? And of course, this one we had in the last game. This one, you remember everybody, all the little girls in the girls' school. This was called The Facts of Life. Okay, Captain, we would call you the captain. As far as the boss goes, I don't know about that one. We'll have to wait and see. Our next one, probably a lot of you would recognize this one. There's been many different, I don't know if you call them sequels, but they've been redone a number of times, and a lot of hot young people in this one too. This one is called Saved by the Bell. Okay, this one I know everybody recognizes. That how many of you have been in your own bar where they call your name out when you arrive? Well, This was the famous Boston bar Cheers. And then we've got the Waltons up again. That was a good show. That started off as just a Christmas special, I believe, and then became a whole series that lasted for quite a few years. And then many other movies after that. Boy, my card's not doing very. I haven't had one yet other than the free square. Okay, now this guy, if you don't recognize the mustache, you would recognize the car if it was a little bit bigger. But this one was Magnum PI, another good cop show. Hey, I finally got one on my card. And then you always have this young man who's been in so many different shows. But in the very first show that he was in, can any of you remember the name of that show? Well, this show was Family Ties. And now this one came up right after the Bengals. I don't know if we ever identified it, but this show was the Munsters. An interesting fact about that, I actually got to meet Grandpa Munster one time when I was in New York. I was visiting with some friends, and we went sightseeing, and Grandpa Munster actually owned a restaurant in New York. And we went to that restaurant this particular day, and he was there. So I actually have a picture of me and my friends and him outside of his restaurant. So a lot of you have probably seen that picture of me. That's the one that I use from the decade of the 70s, but or 80s. That one was from the 80s, sorry. But I call that my porn star look. But that was a good show. I enjoyed it. Hey, Sean, glad to see you made it. Welcome back. I saw you were in here earlier. Yeah, maybe that's one I need to do is different beers. That would be an interesting one. I'll have to make a note of that. Okay, and the next one was, whoops, got to click on the right spot here. Now, you all got to recognize this show. I think that everybody knows the famous medical hospital in Vietnam, or Korea, I guess it was. I should correct myself. So this was MASH, the 4077. And then, of course, when you think classic TV, this is another one that pops up in everybody's mind. The Brady Bunch. With all the kids and Alice, the maid, and mom and dad. Hey, Peekaboo, you got a bingo? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. All right, let me go check the card here. Okay. You sure there, Peekaboo? I see looking at the card, but I don't see any bingo. Peekaboo, you cheater. You got to play fair here. Don't forget, I can see the cards, so I can check them. We don't want to put you in a timeout now. Oops, I just lost. So I got to bring up the callings thing again. Okay, well, we'll continue on. And now this one is another one of those cop shows you may not recognize, but this was Jim Rockford from the Rockford Files. And then you got another one of those horror families. I'm sure you'll recognize this one. This is the Addams Family with Morticia and Gomez. And then, of course, we had this one in the last game. This everybody recognizes Dick Van Dyke. Now, this one you may not recognize very easily. This one, you had to pretty much be a fan of the show, I think, in order to recognize this one. But it was another one of those sitcom westerns, and this one was Gunsmoke. Okay, we got the Dukes of Hazzard back again. Everybody remembers that. And then one of our favorite cartoons when we were young. It really foresaw a lot of modern inventions in some ways. Of course, we still don't have the flying cars, but that was the Jetsons. Remember that? Now, this was a show that, again, some of you may not recognize, but she was a big news broadcaster in her show, and it was a comedy. This was Murphy Brown. Now you got to recognize this lady. I mean, after all, she was around for a long time still. Well, I don't know if she still is or not, but this was Murder, She Wrote. And then you remember this show from the last game. This one was Taxi. A lot of people got their starts on this show. They were young, and you saw them move on to other things as time went on. Now, here was another one that was one of my favorites. You hopefully will recognize all these characters, but this was from Gilligan's Island. This was one of those original captains. And then we had this on the last game as well. This was the Great American Hero. We got some people getting close, it looks like here. Now, this was another one of the ones that I really enjoyed. This was the little half-hour sitcoms that was on about all that time with the Three Gals and Uncle Joe and the Train. Remember that one? Petticoat Junction. Woo, woo. Now, this one was my favorite show. I loved this show. Somewhere I've got like a video cassette collection of all the shows. I hope I still have that somewhere. I've had it for years. Hogan's Heroes. I remember we were supposed to, in junior high, we were supposed to write a theme paper on our favorite hero, and this was Hogan. Colonel Hogan was the one I wrote about. I love this show. At one point, I even wanted to start digging tunnels in our backyard, and I got about 6 inches down and realized that's too much work. Oh, thank goodness for that. I'm sure my family was happy that I didn't spend all that time digging. Now here, all of us cruising fans, we got to recognize this one. It's the Love Boat. I don't know. Captain Stubing was pretty legitimate there, Captain Billy. There's another one of those older shows that we had in the last one. Hopefully most of you remember it. You remember this show? This was Different Strokes, where he adopted the 2 black kids and they got into all kinds of mischief. Hey, Michelangelo's got a bingo? Let's go take a look and see. Okay. Oh, there it is. You got the diagonal. Way to go, girl. Congratulations. See, it pays to come in late. You end up with the winning card. All righty. Well, let's go in here and we'll clear the cards. And go in and scramble up the call list, and we'll get ready to start a new game here. So what do you guys think so far? Hey, Captain Sherry, nice to see you here. You got in just in time. Go ahead and grab you a card. You can click on the link in, I just left the link here in the chat, or you can click on the same one in the show notes for this show. We've had 2 games before, and Najuma won one, and Michelange just won the second one. So we're getting ready for a third one. We'll probably play 3 and we'll call it quits for today unless everybody wants to keep playing. I don't have anything special going on. Okay, I see Captain Sherry has her card. Everybody else's cards are ready to go. Don't forget to mark your free square. That's a freebie after all. And we will get ready for the new show here. Or not new show, the new game. Oh, Najuma. Well, I'm glad that you came for it, and hopefully we'll have you back for many of the other shows. Okay, let me get the... Oh, yeah, and if anybody out there has good video skills and wants to create a neat introduction for our show or an outro, either one, I'll be happy to post it up there. Right now, I just put a still with the music because I'm not as talented at the video stuff, or as patient, I should say. Okay, let's go we're ready to start the new one. And here we go. Okay, well, we had him in the last show, so you'll remember him. That one was Family Ties. And of course, this one we had in the last show as well, Green Acres. Green Acres is the place to be. I won't sing anymore. I don't want to make you guys have to get out of here. And the next one, oh, you got to know this person, Carol Burnett. I mean, nobody quite like her. She was an oldie but goodie. And the next one, we had, I think this was the first call on the last game. This is the guys from Dragnet. Well, Captain Sherry, too bad we're not playing for money here to help you win back the money for your battery. And the next one, there we go. We got the Addams family back again. And our next one is the Partridge family. Remember that psychedelic bus? That would have been my kind of vehicle, the way I'm into all my different colors and stuff. And then we have this famous detective. Kind of looked like he was half asleep all the time and always had wrinkly clothes. This was Columbo. And then everybody has to love this group of people. It wasn't hard to remember them. Remember that from the last one? This was the Facts of Life. And another one of the classics that you can't help but remember. All in the Family with Archie Bunker. And then another good classic, but of course they're all good classics, otherwise they wouldn't be in the list, right? Well, this is the Laverne and Shirley. This was a spinoff from the Happy Days show. And then the famous bald detective. Y'all remember him with his lollipops? This was Kojak. Hey, Larry, glad to see you here in our group. Grab a card and play along. This is our last, well, it may not be the last game. We'll see what people feel like if they want to play. Then, of course, you got Gilligan's Island. That was the favorite I think everybody liked. And Bewitched. This was Samantha's cousin Sabrina. She was always getting into mischief. And Mary Tyler Moore, we all remember her. She was a spinoff from the Dick Van Dyke Show. She was Dick Van Dyke's wife on that show. And the Love Boat is back on this one. And the gang from Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Now, Peekaboo ought to remember this one. This one is one he thought was the My Three Sons as the Honeymooners. This is the Honeymooners. They were way back in the 60s, still with the black and white. And of course, I Dream of Jeannie. Everybody remembers her. And the spin-off from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, her best friend, Rhoda. Let's see how everybody's doing. Oh, we got a few people that are getting close. Still got a few more calls to do here, so we'll continue on. Our next one. There we go. The Saved by the Bell gang. Some of them you still see in shows to this day. And then we got the Waltons. And the infamous I Love Lucy. Boy, how many people could ever forget her? Now, this one a lot of you may not recognize. This was another one from back in the 60s. This was the Donna Reed Show. And yes, Sean, this one is definitely telling our age. And then, of course, you got the Dukes of Hazzard. Can't forget that one. Okay, anybody getting closer here? We got one person, two people within one. Alrighty, let's see if we can't find that. Let's see, what are the winning ones they need? Okay, they need and they also need Okay, let's see if we can draw one of them up. Okay, this one was 8 is enough. Yeah, Brady Bunch wasn't enough with 6 kids. They had to have 8. Ranging in all kinds of ages from youngin' all the way up to young adults. And then the lawyer show to beat all lawyer shows. Perry Mason. For some reason, every time I hear the theme song to that show, I think of bath time. So whatever day it was on, that must have been our bath night, because I always seem to tie that song with going to take a bath. Oh. Then we have the Different Strokes gang back. And now this was one of my favorite sci-fi shows. Do you recognize him? This is the Twilight Zone. Oh, we've got a lot more getting closer now. Okay, let's see if we can't do something about that. See if we can get somebody to be a winner. Our next one. Remember this show? Said a lot of you probably don't remember it. This was the Wonder Years. Oh, and then who can ever forget this guy? Steve Urkel. Goodness gracious. Remember the show he was on? And then we got the gang from Taxi. I think we may have a winner now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go take a look here. Nope, that must have been the last game. Somebody needed a taxi. Oh, hold it. I see somebody does have a bingo. Way to go, Captain Sherry. Congratulations, Captain Sherry. That was a good, see? Seems like every time somebody comes in late to the game, they end up being a winner. Maybe that's a sign. Okay, that's been fun. Do people want to, that enough for now, or do you want to play some more? Well, I'm up for playing again. Let me go get things ready here. Okay, scramble up my colors. Get that screen ready. And we'll go clear the cards. Oh, Larry's got a card in this one. All right. Okay, the cards are cleared and we're ready to go for another game. Okay, got to get the color screen up here. Sorry if I seem a little slow at this. This is all new to me. I'm just glad to see that it's working as well as it is. Okay, you ready? Here we go. The very first one. We got My Three Sons is back. This was the oldest of the. Well, actually, I think there was one boy that was older, but we didn't see him much in the show. He was actually the fourth son. But the three that were in the show, he was the oldest of the three. And our next one is the old bald guy himself. And no, it's not Larry. It's Kojak. And then old Mr. Rumpley, the Columbo, another one of the famous detectives from TV. And then we have the Flintstones. There we go. Everybody remembers Fred and Barney and Wilma. And what was Barney's wife's name? All of a sudden, I drew a blank. Goodness gracious, can't remember. And then we have Gilligan's Island again. You got the Professor and Mrs. Howell and Mary Ann. Larry, what was Barney's wife's name? I can't remember. Wilma and Fred. And who and Barney? God, I'm just drawing total blank. And then Mary Tyler Moore's come back here. I think she's been in every game. Betty, there you go. Thank you, Captain Billy and Larry. I could not remember her name to save my soul. And then you had Bam Bam and Pebbles and Dino. And we got the guys from Dragnet back. And we have the little girls from the Facts of Life. Oh, yes, I did like Gazoo as well, Larry. He was always a good one. And then we got the Petticoat Junction gang. And the Jeffersons. They were heading on up to the east side. And then we have the Different Strokes people. And the Dallas gang. Yep, old JR and all of the hoodlums that were part of his family. I could remember when that show was on. It was on Friday nights. And we all had to be done with dinner and our baths taken, showers taken, whatever, and cleaned up, ready to go. And nobody wanted to sit on the couch with my brother because he got so violent when he got angry with JR. So nobody would sit with him. And of course, you have I Love Lucy and all of her shenanigans. and Jim Rockford from the Rockford Files. And the Jetsons. Of course, we don't have any robots to play cards with yet, but we can play cards on the computer, so I guess that's close. And no flying cars. The Donna Reed Show. Does anybody besides me actually remember that show? Then we have the Brady Bunch and all of their various movies that they had over time. Which one of the Brady Bunch gang was your favorite? And the Beverly Hillbillies. Granny was such a hoot. I loved her. She was something. Excuse me. Damn allergies got me all kinds of hooked up. I never used to be allergic to anything until I moved to Florida, so. Then you have the Andy Griffith Show. We haven't seen him yet today. And we got a few people getting close here, looks like. And the next one is the Waltons. I always enjoyed that show. That was one I liked to watch, even in reruns. And then you got the Green Acres people. And Three's the Company. Remember them? And the Cheers gang. Hey, I think we have another bingo here. Way to go, Captain Sherry. 2 in a row. And I already saw your card because I just went and looked at it as you marked it. Congratulations. Yay! Okay, we'll play one more game. And this time, I'll let you guys choose what pattern you'd like to play. Do you want to go for the whole gusto and do a coverall? Or do you want to play one of these patterns? I like the anchor and the boat and the turtle. Those are my 3 favorite patterns. And the martini glass is cool. And then I have the Y and the T for YouTube. Okay, I see one boat for a coverall. Now, when I've done this game in the past with different permutations, the winner always got to pick the next pattern that we played. But Captain Sherry has said you guys can pick it, so let's go with a coverall. We'll make it a big game here and see how long we can make that last. Sound good to everybody? Okay, we'll play the coverall. Okay, let me go clear the cards. Okay. They are all cleared now. OCV, who's that? I'm trying to think of who OCV is. Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was here. I hadn't seen him in the chat yet. Welcome. We're glad to have you here, Orange Cone Vlog. You're just in time for the new game. I think you were here in the last game too, kind of think of it, but I hadn't seen you in the chat yet, so I wasn't aware of it. Okay, let me go find my collar here and get that scrambled up. Okay. And it's ready to go, so we'll put it up on screen. Whoops, wrong button. Present, share screen window. Okay. We're ready to go. Yeah, you can play as many cards as you want, or if you can keep track of them on the computer, they can even be printed out. I understand, and if you do, then because right now we're not giving away any prizes, but if you ever play on a printed card, then you just need to keep track of the ID number. So if you want to claim any prizes, but do you like playing it on your phone or on the computer or on the tablets? What do you guys think of this system? I found this system and I play it a lot by myself. I created bingo cards for different shows that I watch a lot of, keywords that they say a lot, or catchphrases and stuff like that. So it gives me something to do other than just watch the show. Like I think I made some for some of the cruise shows. So when I was watching their shows, I made some. There's a mini golf show that I watch all the time. I made one for him, and it's just kind of, I love bingo a lot, so it just gives me a chance to play bingo. And it's kind of like a drinking game where when something happens, you take a drink. Well, you watch the show, and when something happens or some word gets said and it's on your bingo card, you get to mark your card. So it can be a lot of fun. I enjoy it. This is a good tool. All right, well, we'll get started here. Our first one. Oops, got to click on the right place. That would help. Okay, we got the Twilight Zone is back. And I'm going to move through these a little faster also, since I'm telling the names of them and all. And then we have the Flintstones again. Yeah, Larry, I'm good for that. I love to go play bingo, so I try to play bingo a lot on the ships when I've got the money. It can be a little pricey, but I never won anything, but I sure have fun doing it. And our next one is MASH. The 4077, Hawkeye Pierce. And, of course, Mary Tyler Moore. And her spinoff for best friend, Rhoda. And the Different Strokes people. And Hogan's Heroes. That one was one of my all-time favorites. And the Facts of Life girls. We watched them grow up a lot on that show. And Perry Mason. Wonder how many people became lawyers because they watched his show. The Donna Reed Show. She was the traditional American housewife. And Kojak. Who loves you, baby? And then everybody remembers him, don't you? Yep, Family Ties. And then Who's the Boss? And Columbo. And then you have Family Ties. We watched all of these youngins grow up. Or not Family Ties, sorry. Full House. Wrong show. Sorry about that. Full House is this show. So many family shows. And of course, I Love Lucy. And the Green Acres Gang. Magnum PI. Wouldn't it be nice if all investigators could afford to run around in expensive sports cars? Then you got the Dukes of Hazzard. And the Lone Ranger and his best friend Tonto. And of course, you got Danny Partridge, or from the Partridge family, or not Danny, Keith Partridge from the Partridge Family. Then you have the Gunsmoke Gang. Or there again, I made that. This is the Bonanza. There were two of them, and I always got the two of them mixed up. This is the Bonanza group. Then you have the Munsters. And the Saved by the Bell Gang. The Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason. And Andy Griffith. Of course, this is one of his older shows. And the Jeffersons. Must have been a damn good laundry operator for the money he was making. And Petticoat Junction. And Batman. And of course, his sidekick, Robin. The 8 is Enough Gang. And the Brady Bunch. And Dragnet. And of course, the Gilligan's Island crew. And the Addams Family. Cheers to y'all. Taxi. Bewitched. Great American Hero. Murphy Brown. Jim Rockford from the Rockford Files. And of course, Dick Van Dyke. And the Beverly Hillbillies. I see we got a few people doing pretty good, but nothing full yet. So we'll continue on. We got Laverne and Shirley. One thing about playing a full card, we'll hopefully get to see some of the ones we haven't seen in the other games yet. McHale's Navy. There you go. That was another good one I enjoyed. And the Love Boat. We all got to love the Love Boat. Who can't help but love them as much as we all like to cruise? And Lassie, my favorite dog. I always wanted to have a dog like Lassie. And I did end up with a dog that was similar, kind of like a mini collie. It was a Sheltie, but they look quite similar. There we go. We haven't seen this one yet. The Gang from Happy Days. Richie Cunningham and Fozzie. Fonzie, not Fozzie. Then you got the Wonder Years. And the Bob Newhart Show. My Three Sons. Hey, Anthony's got a bingo. Let's go take a look. We're playing full card here, Anthony, so you don't have a bingo yet. You got to have the whole card full. And then we have I Dream of Jeannie. If you look up in the corner of the screen, it shows you the pattern we're playing. Oh, here's one we haven't seen yet. Leave It to Beaver. All in the Family. Archie Bunker and Edith. And Carol Burnett. The Dallas Family. Larry, you just call bingo by saying bingo in the chat. This tool doesn't have an automatic way to do it, and I periodically go check the cards to see who's getting close. And we have a few that are down to just 3 more blanks to go on some of them, so we're getting close. When we play competitively, the first person to call bingo in the chat will be the winner in case of a tie. And then we have Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury. And the Waltons. And this one was Bonanza. Or Gunsmoke, I mean. God, I always get those names mixed up. Sorry about that. Oh, now we haven't seen this one yet. And this is a favorite of many. The Golden Girls. Then we got Steve Urkel. Remember that show from Family Matters? Okay, Michael Ann. Bingo, yes, she has a full card. Way to go, girl. Way to go. That's 2 games for you as well today. Congratulations. Yeah, we need to get some kind of a fancy video for the bingo winner, too. Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know I did. And I made it without coughing my head off too much today, which was good. I want to thank all of you for coming in here to enjoy this with me and to try out this new idea. So what do you guys think about how often would you like this to be done? Once a week? More often? Less often? I got a lot of free time, so we can do it almost as often as you like. And of course, as we get more people, it'll become even more fun, hopefully, with more competition. So as it sits right now, I'll plan to do this again next Wednesday at 5 p.m. But if you feel like we need to do it more often, let me know, or a different day, a different time. Nothing is set in stone. We can be very flexible. So just let me know what you think. And in the meantime, you all have a wonderful evening. And we watch for the information. I'll let you know when the next show is. Thanks for helping me out with this new venture. Bye, y'all.